Just want to go over my pre-market game plan going into tomorrow. So as always, let's keep this quick, clean, and easy. And I'll do my best to do a session recap of today. So starting off here on the 1 hour, we can clearly see this was our no trade zone for a reason. Clear channel up here. So it's not a surprise that we ended up getting a sell-off as we were sitting near this all-time high. Not a surprise at all. Now, when I see a sell-off, what is that? That just means it's just a pullback long type of day. That's all that is. We are still very bullish on this time frame, on the higher time frame. So you can see here, buyer stepped up very aggressively on the 664.55. Now, I've been saying these really are the A plus long pullbacks, right? It's kind of I don't want to say too late, but the better are our trades with the pullback longs targeting the top of this range. If you take a break and retest over an all-time high, then a pullback long entry to look for continuation, it already completed its objective. It already made a new all-time high. These are where you want to be long at and then get that continuation to hold these trades. So coming into tomorrow, obviously, this is still our no trade zone. This is just a channel. You would want to be long prior to price getting back into this channel. So I hope that makes sense. This is a no trade zone for me just because if we open up in here, we're just dead smack in the middle of the previous day high and the previous day low. So really the A plus level and long that I'm looking for is off the 664.55. But like I've said, you can really scout and play the break and retest off these key levels if you want on the intraday, but we want high probability trades. So this is really the main trade that I'm looking for tomorrow. Qs, same thing, really as a SPY. Let's go here on the 1 hour. We see this was our no trade zone for a reason, right? Clearly a channel up there. So coming into tomorrow, I'm looking for a pullback long off this 599.60. Very valid. This is a very strong level. If we pull back here, not only did we sweep the previous day lows, liquidity, we filled those orders, swept that, we reclaim this and get that push higher. That is beautiful. So this is like the A plus long. This is really the A plus long. You can clearly see how aggressive buyer stepped up once we got to this 599.60. We're still bullish on this higher time frame. This is a valid long entry, a break and retest over the 607.15, targeting the top of this range and all-time highs. Now, the reason I like the 607.15 is because something that I've been noticing here is price just runs through here. It's a lot of thin volume in here. Look at that, straight down, straight up, straight down. There's not much going on in there. So I actually like that. So a break and retest over that is a very valid trade. And like I said on the SPY as well, you want to be long already before we get back in this channel. You don't want to take a trade in here where price is just so compressed. This is a channel. You already want to be in a long position when price gets back into here. So pull back long off of here. This is dead smack in the middle of the range of the previous day high and the previous day low, so there's no trade for me in there. So, or break and retest over the 607.15. And like I've said, you can take a break and retest over the 613.18, but the move has already happened. It's already happened. So you want to enter down here. If you do get a breakout up here, you know what we're looking for. Strong displacement so we can see buyers are in control. It's not a fake out or liquidity grab. Then a retest and look for that continuation higher. AMD. So AMD here, we're pretty much starting to chop. Look at this on the daily. Does this look like a name that's moving higher or moving lower? Not at all. Now, something that I've noticed, this 240.10, this is a very strong resistance level here, right? You see, we pushed into here, which is the damage body tells the story. It's been very hard to get a daily candle close above this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, right? We've pushed into this 240.10 and then just rejected. So that's something that you really want to be cautious about. Now, pullback longs, the A plus pullback long entries are down here. So coming into tomorrow, it's going to be the no trade zone just because we'll be dead smacking between the previous day high and the previous day low. This is a valid long targeting the top of this range. That's a valid long entry. The reason for that being is you don't want to enter long up here. We've been seeing strong sellers sit up here. Look what happened today. We pushed in, rejected that on the dot. Yesterday, rejected that on the dot. We've only had one day, which was Monday, where we actually got a break, retest, made a new all-time high, and that was the only time we held above here. And even this day, the daily candle didn't really close above that level. So that being said, tomorrow, you're looking for a break and retest over 234.20 or a pullback long off this 227.30 in the video. Really nothing going on this name. Still in this channel. Still in this channel. It's crazy. Now, I will say, if you sat on your hands and you waited for this trade to come and break outside of this channel, that was a very valid trade, right? Let's look at this. Remember, the key level, whatever candle broke that should really be your stop loss. So that being said, proper break, retest, I mean, that was a trade. That was an A plus shot if you took that. Letting your trades come to you. We've been eyeing these two key levels. Now, I will say, when we zoom out here on the daily, something that I noticed is buyers are stepping up very aggressively. This is just a really not the best name to trade right now, in my opinion, just because it's a tough name. Since August, when we were in this channel, just chopped around. And you can see all these daily candles just closing within here again. So that being said, just be cautious on this name, but we're still looking for a break and retest under 179.45 or a break and retest over 184.50. Now, we are bearish bias on this name. We are bearish bias on this name. So another valid shot, just in case it happens during pre-market, if we open up under 179.45, what am I looking for? A pop and fade off that. That's a very valid shot. A pop and fade off this 179.45 is a valid shot. You saw buyers step in aggressively. We got the daily candle close above this. So these are still two key levels to take a trade off of. So just be mindful. Keep an eye on this 179.45. That will be our key level going into tomorrow. Tesla. Now, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me, but Tesla didn't do anything for earnings. It really didn't. If anything, Tesla just put us more dead smack in the middle of the range. So you see here on the daily, I've been preaching this for the longest. I am not touching this name unless we get a break over 445 or under this 410. 410 has been keeping this name higher, so we are still bullish bias on this name. Now, let's go into the intraday. As you can see here, what I mean, it didn't do much. The low a day is 429. We pushed down to 417.30, and then we're already recovering, pretty much just came back to the low of day. So Tesla really didn't do much. We'll see how it goes tomorrow. Just be cautious on this name. For me personally, I'm not taking a trade on this name if we are in between 445, right, and 410. If we're in between these two key levels, I'm hands off on this name. You can clearly look, there's nothing here. This is just sideways action. There's nothing here. Also, be very careful tomorrow if you do decide to trade this name. It's Thursday. We can expect the IV to be spiked a little bit because of earnings. And on a Thursday for Tesla, those contracts, they move pretty aggressively as if it's a Friday. So on Thursdays, I typically play at the money contracts or a strike price or two in the money. So if you're looking to trade this name, just be cautious. But to be honest, there's still nothing here. There's still nothing here. So my advice for the high probability setup, just wait for a break under 410, or we're waiting for our break and retest under 445. Very unfortunate because if you come here this whole week, we've been flirting with 445. We've been looking for this break and retest above here. There's nothing in this way to the upside, but we got that sell off today. And then, due to earnings, that pretty much just put us back dead smack in the middle of the range. So just be cautious here on Tesla. There's really nothing going on this name. Don't force it. Just be patient. Let our trades come to us. Let me go here on the daily just so you can see what I'm talking about. Right, 410 is holding us up. If we fall under 410, this is a valid short. That's a lower low on the higher time frame. You can clearly see 410 has been holding us up. We have a gap to fill, and we have all this thin volume to fill. This was just a straight up move. So a short under 410 is very valid. Apple. Now, Apple is still bullish on the higher time frame. I took my shot today, pull back long off this 260.10. You can go check it out on my live trading recap that I posted today. I inserted, the live trade at the end of that. But this name is bullish on the higher time frame, as we know, right? So pull back long off this is valid. Now, the A plus long is off this 253. I've been saying that. Let's go here on the daily. We still have this gap to fill. This is still a gap. We gapped up and made new all-time highs. That's still a gap to fill, right? So be mindful of that. Now, this is no coincidence. I just broke this down yesterday on AMD, the same thing. What do? Right? Pull back long off Monday's low. Remember, on a trending name to the upside or to the downside, you can use the previous day highs and the previous day lows to trade off of for pullback longs and pullback shorts because those are liquidity pockets where buyers and sellers load back up to push this thing higher or lower. Now, as you know, I don't trade off of previous day high and low levels. I just use them as context references. But this is not a random spot on the chart where buyers said, hey, now let's buy. No. Swept this liquidity, filled these orders for Monday. Buyer stepped up and pushed this thing higher. This is Monday's low. That's like on the dot. That's not a random spot where buyers said, okay, now we can step in here and push this thing higher. So for me personally, I'm still looking for the pullback off this 253. That is a very valid shot. But coming into tomorrow, I'm looking for a break and retest over 260.10, targeting the previous day high and then all-time high. That's a very valid shot. That's a really good RR trade. But of course, the A plus long is this 253 that I will be eyeing. So we shall see. Palantir, almost. So you can clearly see 169 has been holding this thing up. Look what happens when we push down here. Buyers step in very aggressively. That's no coincidence. Now, price pushed down to 169 and the body of the candle closed down 175. That's a very aggressive buyer stepping in there. So hands off this name. We are bearish bias once we break under 169, right? That is a lower low on the higher time frame. So I'm not touching this name unless we break over 188 or if we break under 169. Google, kind of like AMD, really not much going on. We're starting to just sit sideways, but this is still bullish on the higher time frame. Still bullish. You're just looking for pullback longs. I broke this down yesterday. The two pullback A plus longs was here and here. These were the two A plus pullback longs. Like I said, it's kind of already a late shot when you're playing a break and retest off an all-time high level. When we're bullish in the higher time frame, you're just looking for the pullback longs, targeting the all-time high. Now, you can clearly see today's price action compared to yesterday's price action. So tomorrow, what you're looking for, and I will say this is the A plus long. If we can pull back to this 247.15, this is solid. Targeting the top of this range, that's very solid. You can scale out here, and then leave some continuation, hoping we can get that all-time high.